everyone, it's Angie. Welcome back to my channel, Angie and the Great World. It is a little bit later than when I normally film. As you can tell by the view from my window, it is dark outside. So the lighting is not going to be the best. Not that I ever have great lighting in my videos, but it might be slightly worse than usual. But I did want to get my weekly reads filmed and hopefully uploaded tonight, because I had a very satisfying reading week and I wanted to talk about what I read. Now, not every book that I read this week was a 5-star read, but I was very pleased with how much I read, with what I read, and that I was able to finish a couple of titles that I had started back towards the beginning of June. So let's get into what I read this week. I finally finished A Mystery of Mysteries, The Death and Life of Edgar Allan Poe by Mark Dawidziak. Now, I feel with Edgar Allan Poe, he is one of those people who, if you've read one book on him, or maybe even a Wikipedia entry, you've read everything there is to know about Poe. But he's also one of those people who you never get tired of reading about. That's my thinking anyway. So if I see a book on Edgar Allan Poe that looks interesting, I'm going to pick it up because he is just such a fascinating person, and it's always fun to read someone else's point of view on Poe, or even just to get a different writing style. And for example, I read J.W. Oker's book Poeland a few years ago, and none of the information was new to me, but I found the book interesting. Same thing with A Mystery of Mysteries. Most of the information was not new, but it was still extremely interesting. The topic is just interesting. So I ended up giving this 4 stars, I believe. It was 3.5 rounded up to 4. So if you're not a fan of Poe, or if you feel like you just have read everything there is to read about him, then you might not enjoy it. But if you're like me and he is just a fascinating topic, then you may enjoy A Mystery of Mysteries, even if you've read other books about Poe. I also finished reading my June on the Range book, which was In the Valley of the Sun by Andy Davidson. And I am conflicted about this one. So I would have DNF'd In the Valley of the Sun at about the 5% mark, because I just didn't care about what I was reading. I was bored. I wasn't invested in the story. Like I said, I just didn't care. But I kept reading because I wanted to give it a fair chance. And I'm glad I did, because at about the 30% mark, it did start to get interesting, because the author introduced the backstory of 2 of the main characters, and that was very interesting. And then from there, I felt like I was invested in the story, even though I did not care for the main character. And then at one point in the book, something happened that was very gory, but also very entertaining. I feel bad saying that, but it was like, if this were a movie, that would be a really thrilling scene. And so I ended up giving this 3 stars because I did find it entertaining. I was bored at the beginning, but I did find it entertaining. And like I said, I didn't care for the main character. I did not find him sympathetic at all. I don't know if I was supposed to find him sympathetic, but I didn't. And then there's one point in the story that is connected to that thrilling scene where you think he has realized or accepted that what he's done throughout the book was terrible, and you think he's going to redeem himself, and then he ends up committing this really heinous murder. And so again, I just did not find him sympathetic. So it was given a 3-star rating by me because of how much I just disliked the main character. Okay, I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And what can I say about the Goblet of Fire? It was a masterpiece. It was brilliant. I thought that it was the book I liked the least in the series, but if anything, I think it may be one of my top 2 or 3 favorites. It was just so good. I love the way J.K. Rowling just fit all these pieces together. And I mean, what can I say? I loved it. So good. I also read Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. I was reading this for a book group, and I liked the book enough. I gave it, again, 3 stars. Now, the 3 stars that I gave in the Valley of the Sun, it earned 3 stars because I didn't like the main character. Shiloh earned 3 stars because it was enjoyable, but not great. It's not a book that I would necessarily want to read again. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Shiloh. And then I read The Letter, the Witch, and the Ring by John Bellairs. This is book 3 in the Louis Barnevelt series. Now this book, wonderful, amazing. I enjoyed every minute of The Letter, the Witch, and the Ring. And yeah, I loved the setting. I loved the plot. I loved the characters. I loved the writing. There is nothing about this book that I didn't enjoy. 5-star read. 5-star. Definitely my absolute favorite of the week. Even though I really, really loved Goblet of Fire, The Letter, the Witch, and the Ring, just amazing. So that's everything that I finished, but I do have 4 other titles that I'm still working on. 2 of them I started reading, one I started reading back at the beginning of the month. Another one I think I started mid-month, and then the other 2 I picked up within the last week. So I am still reading Chaos by Tom O'Neill. However, I did not pick it up at all this past week. And that's just what happens when you read multiple books. Some books, become a priority, and then some books just kind of get put on the back burner. And that's what happened with Chaos. But I am going to focus on that one and Edgar Allan Poe stories this week. Now, on Edgar Allan Poe, in the book Edgar Allan Poe's stories, I think it was 27 thrilling stories, I did finish reading all of the poems, and I read 3 short stories. So I'm going to go quickly through those. I read Ulalume. I think that's how you say it. I gave that 4 stars. I read El Dorado. That was 5 stars. Israfel was a 2-star poem. Annabelle Lee, 5 stars. To Helen, 2 stars. And then To My Mother, 3 stars. Those were all the poems that I read. Then the short stories, The Fall of the House of Usher, that was a 3-star read, and that was a reread. The Black Cat, I hated the animal cruelty. However, it was a 4-star read because it was entertaining. And then The Oblong Box, I gave 2 stars. Okay, so that was 27 thrilling stories by Edgar Allan Poe. And then I started reading The Witch of Wick Haddon by M.C. Beaton. It is book 10 It's either book 9 or book 10 in the Agatha Raisin series. And I had complained a couple of weekly reads ago that I was beginning to lose interest in the Agatha Raisin books. And part of it was because Agatha Raisin was kind of a witch at times, and that was very annoying to me. I decided to pick up this book, Witch of Wickhaddon, for a couple of reasons. One, I want to give Agatha Raisin another chance to redeem herself. And also, I decided to read the ebook rather than listen to the audiobook, because I think maybe part of the reason I'm beginning to dislike Agatha Raisin is because Penelope Keith does such an amazing job narrating the books and giving a voice to Agatha Raisin, that she just comes off very mean. And maybe if I read the ebook rather than listen to an audiobook, maybe Agatha Raisin won't come across so prickly and mean and just witchy. And so far I'm enjoying what I'm reading. I am really liking it, but Agatha has not been a brat so far, so we'll see. And then I also picked up Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling. So those are the 4 books I am reading. Like I said, I will be focusing on 27 Stories by Edgar Allan Poe and Chaos. And then it is the start of a new month, so I will be picking up a couple more books. I will be joining Summer over at Sterling Reads on her Don Quixote read-along. And I think I might pick something else up for Summer of Sport. And then we have Summerween, but I think that starts the second week in July. And yeah, I am looking forward to what July is going to bring reading-wise. And yeah, I may do a July TBR in a few days. Anyways, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you later. Bye.